Alrighty, I want to preface this video by letting you guys know that I don't want to send any hate to this guy. I don't want you guys sending any hate to him. I don't want you guys doing any of that. I don't want you guys going over here saying, oh, well, you know, your video is shit, or whatever, like, based off of everything I say. My dog is standing on the couch right now, just looking at the window. What the fuck? But yeah, as far as this video is concerned, it's it's a very oddly made video. You guys will see why in the rest of the video, because I'm recording this. I'm recording this kind of intro clip after the fact of actually, recording the video. One sec. Sorry, that was my mom calling me. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm recording this after the fact of actually. Sorry, my fucking nose and sentences are acting up. But yeah, I'm recording this after the fact of actually recording the main section of the video. Same thing with the outro. But yeah, if you guys go on to enjoy the video, please go on and leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe maybe, because at 100 subscribers I am doing my Rogue Energy giveaway. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be yet, because it just depends, because on Twitter, or no, from an email they were saying that they're gonna be releasing a new flavor, and then also a new shaker cup or whatever in May, so I might just do a giveaway of the shaker cup and then a tub. It just kind of depends on how YouTube's going. And also, if you guys want to kind of support the channel, like, even more than just a subscription, which is subscriptions, that helps a lot. Like, viewing the videos, liking them, like, leaving comments, all that, that's amazing, and that really does help. But if you guys want to go that extra step further, there's always the option of Patreon, which I talk about at the end of the video as well, but basically, there's these 3 reward tiers. The $5 one, obviously, the cheapest one. You get just the normal shout out at the end of every video. Not at the end. I might have it at the end of every music upload as well, but it would definitely be at the end of every gaming video and every stream. And then for the $10, you'll get a follow on Twitter. I'll like and retweet whatever tweet you want each week, as long as it's not something like super, like, completely upfront racist or hateful or anything like that. As you guys know, I'm not very pro SJW, so I don't find jokes racist. So as long as you're not sitting here like, oh yeah, I like this tweet where I'm promoting the KKK and shit like that, then I'll like the tweet and retweet it. And then I'll also give you guys a shout out on the Discord. And on Twitter, I'll give you guys a shout out like, oh, thanks at whoever for becoming a patron. And then you also get the Discord role and all that kind of stuff from the first. And then the $15 one, which is the most expensive one, which I understand is a bit much. But that's I'm not going to be adding any reward tiers past the $15 one. That's the highest one we're going to have. You'll get 1 stream a month, which means you choose the game I play and the way I play the game. Like, say you choose for me to stream Borderlands 2. You'll choose the character I play, you'll choose the limit of, like, guns I could use, skills, etc. If you choose, like, Call of Duty or whatever, I'll do a stream of Call of Duty where you choose my class, you choose the way I play, stuff like that. Same thing with Overwatch, you'll choose the hero, choose the playstyle, stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in that, that's an option. Again, if you guys want to suggest things, you can always do that on Twitter as well. But for the most part, I try and record things that I want to record. I mean, yeah, I want to have your guys' input on what you guys actually want to see, but it's just one of those things where it's like I also gotta enjoy playing the game that I'm recording. But yeah. And then you also get 2 videos a month, which is about pretty much a week's worth of videos. So I mean, I might have to divvy that up and kind of tweak that eventually, depending on how many people do choose that reward tier. But if you guys decide to do that, you could choose like the video subject, like whether it's a commentary on one thing, or whether it's like a game or whatever, like just I play a specific game, stuff like that. And then you also get the shout out on Twitter, the follow, the like, the retweet, all that stuff. You get those as well, obviously. So I mean, for your value, you get the most out of the $15 one. Then as soon as I do as soon as I hit $100 per month of patrons, which is probably going to be a while, I'll be doing that Patreon only giveaway, and then a video shout out competition thing / collaboration contest at the same time. So that would mean that you guys who are patrons would be entered for specific stuff. Like say you're entered for say I do a massive thing where it's like you get a starter kit from Rogue Energy, which is the shaker cup, and then a couple packets of the stuff, and then also a pair of grips from Fierce Grips, or like a pack of grips from Fierce Grips or something like that. Say I do like a bundle thing like that, and then I would also do, because that money would go towards the channel. That wouldn't just go towards random shit. That would be towards like a better mic, towards better editing software, or actual editing software. That would be towards possibly a webcam in the future. I don't really know if I want to do a full face reveal. I mean, if you guys want to find my face, there's ways to do that. I mean, there's a video on my channel, but I'm not going to dedicate a whole... I'm not really going to get to the point where I mainly put my face in videos for the most part. I mean, I might do it for milestones. But, yeah. But that would go towards, like, a better mic, you know, better recording software, or just better software for my PC in general. Like an Elgato or something like that, so I could record better quality for you guys, and so I can stream from my like when I'm playing PS4, I could stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so I can multi-stream. Same thing with PC. But yeah, so if you guys want to check all that stuff out, that'll be in the description. But yeah, again, it's been kind of a long intro, and I'm sorry for that. It's just there's a lot I kind of want to preface. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. And if you did, make sure to support the channel, and I will see you guys in about 2 seconds. Peace. Hey, what's up guys, Instant Tricks. I actually just finished watching this guy's video that I'm gonna be watching this video. Yeah, the one with the clock on it, because I have my mouse off or whatever, so you guys won't be able to see it being captured. But basically, this guy did a video. I'll actually load up the video. Videos by TheGamerTronShow. I'm gonna skip his intro here in a sec. But I'll actually get rid of this. Alrighty. But he basically makes this video kind of stating that his whole like opinions or thoughts on like Overwatch, stuff like that, and that's fine. That's good. And his whole point is he's calling out Blizzard, Overwatch, stuff like that, saying people don't criticize them, and as you guys know, in my videos I have criticized Blizzard and Overwatch as a game a couple times now. By the time this comes out, the other Overwatch rant videos won't be out, only the first one will, but yeah, so I'm not coming to Blizzard's defense, I'm not coming to Overwatch's defense as a game. I am not making this video just as a fan of Overwatch. I am making this video from a objective standpoint and kind of trying to, I'm gonna put my biases aside and all that, and I'm just gonna kind of go through his points, give you guys my opinions on them, and go from there. Also, don't send this guy any hate. I just want to make that clear. I don't want this guy. I mean, he has a way bigger audience than I do, um, and this isn't meant to be a video for me to send any hate towards him or anything like that, because this is the only video I've seen of his, and he does make some good points in here, which I will acknowledge. So again, I'm not going to recommend his content. I'm not going to not recommend it. All I'm going to say is if you guys want to check out his content, I will link this video in the description so you guys can see that I'm not just skimming through, picking out certain points and ignoring others. I'm going to just go off the memory, and if there's doubt, I'm not going to have the whole video there. But yeah, so that's basically the whole setup of the video, and we'll go from there. So let me actually... I'm just going to leave it like this because it's going to be easier for me to kind of do stuff.
Actually criticize this game. I'm one of the only ones who point out the glaring flaws and issues with this game that everyone gives shit to other video games for, but Overwatch gets a free pass. And honestly, the gaming community has got to stop this. We have to stop this. We can't keep letting Overwatch get away with bullshit. We can't keep letting Activision Blizzard get away with bullshit. It's really odd, because Destiny seems to be the only IP, the only franchise, the only big blockbuster AAA first-person shooter franchise from Activision that no one lets get away with bullshit is Destiny, yet...
Okay, that's the kind of first point that immediately made me kind of just scratch my head. That's not true. I mean, he goes on to say it here in a second, which I'll actually let him
Call of Duty and Overwatch get a free pass? Sure, the Call of Duty community complains to Activision, and Activision continues to ignore them, but...
Yeah, so he does kind of touch on the subject that the COD community does complain about it. But as far as the Overwatch community not really complaining about it, I do agree that Overwatch, the fan base, at least around Overwatch, kind of, for the most part, they kind of just let them get away with whatever, which is not okay. Like, with the Overwatch League, I mean, they're literally banning people just because they're acting the exact same way they were when they were just streaming before the Overwatch League. They're sitting here because they banned XQC for the simple fact that, oh, well, he used an emote in chat, so therefore he's racist or whatever, so we're kicking him from the league. It's like, it's just a bit ridiculous how Overwatch handles the Overwatch League, but as far as Overwatch handling the game in general, there are a lot of problems, which I've touched on in the one rant video that's going to be out by the time this comes out, and then in the other ones that'll come out after this. And I know it's not, I'm going to cover this again real quick. I know it's not really normal for me to do response videos. I don't know if I'm going to do another one, but this just kind of, I want to put my 2 cents in, kind of share my opinions on it. But as far as this whole point about just, oh, Destiny is the only Activision Blizzard FPS that gets all the hate, that's not true at all. I mean, yeah, it gets a good amount of hate compared to Overwatch, but I mean, between Destiny and Call of Duty, they're both pretty equally hated. I mean, I've made my thoughts pretty clear on World War II. I might do a re-review sometime soon. Spoiler alert, my thoughts haven't changed much. My opinions haven't changed as much. The game's still not as good as it should be. But yeah, I'm no fanboy of Call of Duty. I'm no fanboy of Destiny. I'm no fanboy of Overwatch. I'm not a fanboy of literally anything. Because I honestly feel like having fanboys is not healthy. Like, the whole practice of being a fanboy or fangirl is not exactly healthy for the industry. I might do a whole separate video on that. But, yeah, so when I say, oh yeah, but this, I'm not, like I said in the beginning, I'm not just trying to blindly defend Overwatch or any game or company, because I don't have allegiance to any company or game. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that real quick, because that was one of the main points that I kind of had contentions with, is that he's saying that, oh yeah, like Call of Duty doesn't get as much hate, while he goes on to say, oh yeah, well, the COD community complains. If Activision doesn't listen to the fans, that's not on the fans. I mean, I and I'm sure many others have complained about Overwatch and some of the things in the game. I mean, hell, there's probably been millions of people that have complained about the SR system in competitive, and it's still just how it is. And I mean, it took them 2 years to fix Scatter, and it's on the PTR right now, so it'll probably be out sometime next month. And it's just a bit frustrating that Blizzard takes that long to really reply to the fixes that need to happen. But yeah, but again, just because Activision doesn't listen to the Call of Duty fans doesn't mean that it's the Call of Duty fans' fault. But yeah, so I'll do his next point.
But that's a video for another time. We're talking about this multiplayer first-person shooter, Overwatch. Look, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Despite all my criticisms of Overwatch, Retribution event, which not only brings back the over the player versus player experience in any video game, but even if I remove my biases, I remove my subjectivity, we can admit objectively, Retribution is well made.
Okay, again with that point, objectively, I can say it's made decently. I think, honestly, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but this is my opinion. Honestly, I think that kind of Uprising and Retribution, as far as the actual modes, the story behind the modes is amazing, but just the actual gameplay is very repetitive. He goes on to say, oh, it's enjoyable, it has replay value. Yeah, it's enjoyable, I'll give it that. But the replay value just isn't there. Like, yeah, there's all heroes mode, but that's about it. I mean, Junkenstein had that, and Junkenstein got boring after about, as soon as you try out every kind of normal comp or whatever, or even goofy ass comps, or every hero that you want to play as, it just kind of gets boring. I mean, maybe that's just me. I mean, if it is, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Kind of let me know. But I mean, for me personally, it's I don't know. I don't personally find either mode very well made at all. Like in Uprising, the health for the payload or whatever, once it gets moving, or even while it's sitting there, it shares the same health pool, and that's fine. But the fact of how quick it goes down, even on normal mode, is ridiculous. It's just a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. Again, I haven't gotten a full group of 4 to actually go through each of these on Legendary, which I might do on stream someday. Or I might do a video on that, I don't know. But, yeah, so, I mean, as far as Retribution being well made, I mean, it's made, I suppose. Just the whole fact of, like, this whole section where he's at right now. If you guys watched my live stream when I first played through Uprising and Retribution for the first time of each, like my first time ever playing either mode, I just kind of, I mean, I was excited because it was new for me, but I mean, now it's at the point where I play it and I'm like, oh, I just kind of play it for the XP, because I'm not playing comp again until next season, and then I don't really fuck with quick play at the moment, but I don't know, that's why I've been kind of streaming Borderlands 2 recently and other stuff like that, but again, I'm going to try and stay more focused on his points and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as it being well made, I guess, I don't know, it's debatable, I suppose. But yeah, let's get on to his next point.
Just as Uprising was well made. It has entertainment value. There's replayability to it. It's good content. It is good, solid content. And once again, I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. Every year we get a new PvE story co-op mission in the same vein, in the same style of Uprising and Retribution. And that is cool. That is nice. Getting something new and unique from Overwatch in terms of PvE content every year. Yeah. But you're missing out on the part where they remove the bloody content. They take...
Okay, that's one thing I will immediately agree with. This is probably going to be a quicker kind of cut in for my commentary. But yeah, the fact that they remove content, it's bullshit. I even saw a comment, I don't know if I can find it. I don't know if I can find the comment. Um, let's see. But I saw the comment that went something along the lines of um, the person just kind of agreeing with the fact that yeah, it's bullshit and that the PvE modes should just kind of be there. Because I mean, his whole bias that he even said, I accidentally skipped past it, but his whole bias that he said he has is um, that he prefers PvE style gameplay over PvP, and that's fine. Everyone has their preferences, and even every once in a while, I prefer PvE over PvP in certain instances. That's why Call of Duty Zombies has always been a big draw for me, except for in COD World War II, and even Infinite Warfare was kind of okay, I suppose. But yeah, so even with me, I enjoy PvE. I mean, I guess overall I enjoy PvE more than PvP, but I guess in Overwatch I kind of prefer the PvP aspect. I mean, that's just me. That's a personal thing. That's really not. I'm not bringing up the whole fact that he prefers PvE as a point, because I'm just trying to let you guys know the kind of two ideologies going on right now. But in terms of the fact of him, like the whole reason I brought up that is because there are many players like that have that same preference as him, where they mainly enjoy the PvE content, and the fact that with the whole PvE thing, that they remove the few like special PvE modes within like a month or a couple weeks. I agree, it's bullshit. They shouldn't be removing content. I think the only thing that I could say, oh yeah, it's okay for them to remove, is the ability to get like event skins until the event comes around again, because that's fine. That gives the whole event something special, and if you get one of those skins and you happen to be lucky enough to get it, or you end up saving enough credits from grinding out the game, then yeah, that feels special. That feels, oh, I got something interesting. Um, Especially with this year's skins. This year's skins have been pretty great so far. I actually think this batch of skins for the Retribution event is probably the weakest batch of the past probably 5 months, give or take. Actually, probably about ever since October, essentially. I know that's more than 5 months, but ever since October, between the Junkenstein event of 2017 till now, this is probably the weakest batch of skins. I mean, obviously, that's up to opinion and stuff like that, because it's cosmetics. But as far as design goes, I think they're all very bland. Especially the Winston skin. I think that's very just kind of bland. But again, that's just me. But yeah, I do agree that PvE modes should just be in the game regardless, and they should stop removing that kind of stuff. Like, they should not be removing modes, maps, anything like that. So yeah.
Take content out of the game. They have it playable only for a couple of weeks. That is not pro-consumer. That is anti-consumer. Adding and then removing large chunks of content from your game is never pro-consumer. It was bullshit last year in 2017 when they did this with Uprising. Why there wasn't outrage from the gaming community over this, I do not know, and it's bullshit now. And what's even more bullshit is that other video games with the live service model are be available for limited time, free money, because you're gonna have those people that don't. Implementing a new game mode, a new quality piece of content which adds replay value, moving it, instead of just having consumers buy it and own it, or just implementing it into the game for free. And
Again, I will agree with that point. I do think that it should be implemented for free. I mean, if it got to the point where they ended up saying, "Oh, we're going to charge $60 for the game," on console, I know on PC there's a $40 version. But even in the $40 version, you don't get all the heroes, you don't get all that kind of stuff, you don't get the whole game. So you need to pay $60 for the whole game. And I think the fact that they say that, like, oh, if you pay $60, well, in the US at least, I don't know pricing in other countries, Canada, the UK, stuff like that. But yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, I still don't think technically Overwatch is a full game, mainly because of the fact that with the whole event modes and stuff like that, they, like he said, add content remove it a couple weeks later, and then just call it a day. I don't know. I don't think that's the healthiest way to do it. Um, I don't think that's the healthiest way to kind of deliver people content. Um, but maybe that's just me. Um, but yeah, let's get on to his next point.
And just leaving it there, which is immensely pro-consumer. But nah, screw giving your players, your customers, your fans variety and different options in how to play and enjoy your game. Nah. When it comes to Blizzard, you play their games their way, or it's the highway. Actually, no, correction, they only do that specifically when it comes to Overwatch. Oh, and World of Warcraft, of course.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
Alright, that clip, before watching the video, I watched the video probably about 10 minutes before starting the recording session for this video. But yeah, that whole kind of clip, just the fact that not only the devs said it, I think those are devs, either devs or community managers or whatever, people that are allowed to represent the game, the company, all that. The fact that they're sitting there on stage saying, oh, that's not what you want, trust me, that's not what you want, you may say it's what you want, but it's not, and then getting slight cheers from the audience, that's worrying. I mean, I've never played World of Warcraft, the only Blizzard game I have played so far. I will try and play some other Blizzard games, like StarCraft, Diablo, stuff like that. But the only Blizzard game I've played so far is Overwatch, and just even looking at it, like if I saw this clip, and even if I didn't play any Blizzard game, if I just saw this clip, I would be immensely worried. The fact that, I mean, yeah, it's a slightly older clip, from what I can tell, because the quality is not the greatest, but the fact that the devs themselves are saying those types of things, telling consumers what they want or don't want, and then getting applause for it, that's very concerning. Just the fact that people would just sit here and say, oh yeah, well the devs tell us what we want, so that's fine. No. No. And I don't see how that's productive. That's highly counterproductive, not only as a consumer, but as a gamer. I mean, if we're going to sit here and say, oh, well, yeah, we'll just accept whatever devs tell us without looking into it, or we'll accept whatever devs tell us we want, or what will work without looking into it, then that's a problem. We need to be able to think for ourselves. We need to be able to look into things. We need to be able to fully understand a situation, understand the ups, the downs, the positives, the negatives, all that. But straight up having devs say, oh yeah, we know that you guys want this, but we're not going to do it. Like the whole situation recently with Sledgehammer, which is an Activision Blizzard type franchise technically because of the merger. With that whole situation, that whole move they did recently, I mean, that's not as big of a scale as this, but Activision put out, or Sledgehammer put out this tweet or whatever, saying, oh, do you guys want Dom 50, Dom 75, Dom 100, like domination for those scores. And then a vast majority of people voted for Dom 100, which it used to be the standard. Same thing with TDM 100, having the score limit 100 for TDM and having the points per kill 100 in domination. Those used to be standard things, and now there's TDM 75 as the standard because shorter games are better than longer games, even though Call of Duty was always built off of streaks. If I review World War II, I'll touch more on that, but yeah. That just goes to show in the backlash against that Sledgehammer tweet, by the way, when they announced they were doing Dom 75. The backlash on Twitter was ridiculous. And that's not me saying, oh, you guys shouldn't have reacted the way you did. I'm glad everyone reacted the way they did. I'm glad everyone voiced the fact that, hey, you literally are saying in this tweet, oh yeah, based on fan feedback, we're going to put in Dom 75, even though everyone pretty much voted for Dom 100. Sledgehammer consistently sits here saying, oh yeah, well, you know, I'm going to assume that this is what you guys want, even though we literally have evidence and facts right here that prove otherwise, but we're still going to do whatever we want because fuck you, you're our fan base, and we don't give a shit about you. We just want your money, and that's all that matters. But yeah, again, kind of just that whole situation is just another point against the fact that he says that Bungie or Destiny is the only kind of Activision Blizzard franchise that gets any hate. But yeah, on to his next point.
Oddly enough, however, when it came to their earlier games, like StarCraft, Diablo, Warcraft, their older original games that put them on the map had single-player campaigns that had...
Okay, the single-player campaign, I kind of touched on this, I think, before. If not, I'm going to touch on it now. Overwatch does not need a single-player campaign. It would be amazing if it had one, like that. The possibilities they have for missions, for just strings of missions, for sets of missions, all that kind of stuff it's nearly limitless. Especially with the whole fact of the past, the future of Overwatch, all this kind of stuff. There's so many things they could do. So yeah, I'd love for Overwatch to have a story mode. I think that if it could be pulled off well, it would be amazing. It would honestly be one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. But it doesn't need one. I don't understand this whole fetishization, if I could speak, with the whole fact of, oh yeah, well we need a single player campaign. We need insert this just because, you know, it's not the norm anymore for single player campaigns for the most part. And I don't understand why there's such a huge deal about that, because a campaign, just the fact that a game has a campaign and then the multiplayer doesn't make it a complete game. Like in the sense of Call of Duty World War II, the campaign is very lackluster. The campaign, yeah, the cutscenes are amazing, and just the graphics of World War II are pretty good for a console game. I mean, yeah, it's all PC as well, but for a Call of Duty game and a mainly console game, the graphics are fine. They're good in terms of a console. But I mean, just because the campaign's there doesn't mean it's a good game. I mean, Call of Duty World War II has zombies, a campaign, and multiplayer. And the multiplayer has a headquarters, it has that social space, which is the headquarters. It has contracts, orders, it has variants, it has cosmetics, it has all this kind of stuff. It has many modes. Well, not many modes, it has a few modes. But at launch, World War II is not a complete game. And honestly, in many ways, it still isn't. The fact that there was only technically 2 zombies maps right away, it's ridiculous. I mean, for casual people that don't play the Easter eggs, like me, I played the hell out of the Easter eggs in Black Ops 3, and I even tried out the Easter eggs in Infinite Warfare, just to have something to do. In World War II, I literally did the Easter egg just to try and unlock the other map. I didn't do it because I wanted to, or because there was any reward for it. I just kind of did it because I had to. And yeah, you should play to unlock stuff, but if 99% of your audience that mainly plays multiplayer and will occasionally check out zombies doesn't want to do Easter eggs, and they're limited to just one mediocre map, that's not okay. That's not good business practice. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So as far as the whole campaign for Overwatch goes, it doesn't need one, but if it got one, I would not complain if it was done well. So yeah.
Had the actual story and lore of the games in the games, not exclusively in trailers and comic books like with Overwatch. And there were also extensive options for both co-op and PvP multiplayer. Oh yeah, and full mod support. Seriously, if you compare Overwatch to Blizzard's previous games, it is a downgrade in almost every single way. in story in your full-price AAA video games. And you're defending, quite frankly, not giving a shit or half-assing PvE content. Yes, the evidence and the numbers point to there being far more gamers that prefer PvP over PvE, but there is still a sizable portion of gamers like myself who prefer PvE over PvP. And quite frankly, when it comes to Overwatch, us PvE gamers are being really mistreated. The game.
As far as the whole PvE players being mistreated, that's a bit of a stretch. I wouldn't say you guys are being mistreated. Because I mean, I'm a kind of hybrid of PvE and PvP players, and I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone, obviously. It's not like when people speak for me, just saying, "Oh yeah, all LGBT people want this, all white people want this, all guys want this, all gamers want this, all producers want this, all YouTubers want this, etc." I don't like people doing that, so I'm not going to say, "Oh yeah, this is definitely, what you guys should want." I'm not going to say any of that. What I'm saying is that saying, "Oh yeah, well we're being mistreated just because an option for a game mode isn't there," it's a bit of a stretch in the wording. The kind of message behind it, of the fact that, "Oh yeah, well it's kind of, messed up that you're sectioning off pretty much a whole optional player base that you guys could have just because you don't want to keep one certain mode in the game." Yeah, I understand that. And that's a very valid criticism. That's something that I think should be fixed. But saying that, "Oh yeah, well we're being mistreated," that's just a bit of a stretch. Again, I'm not trying to take any shots at this guy, but that's just a bit much. But let's get on to his next point.
Overwatch has been out for almost around about 2 years now, and in that time, not even half of the roster of heroes and playable characters have been added in or available as bots. Yet
Okay, that's one thing I will agree with real quick is, I mean, yeah, it's a small little thing, and it's not that, at least to me, it's not that big of a thing to where if they instantly added all the heroes or whatever as AI in the custom games, it would immediately make it better. But just the fact that that's something that they could easily do, with how much money they have for Overwatch, they could easily put something like that in there and it wouldn't take them that long. But they're more concerned with screwing themselves over with the Overwatch League and screwing over their casual audience by adjusting the game to fix issues just for competitive players. It's the same issue that Call of Duty has. It's both games, their dev studios buff, nerf, rework things, for the most part, for their competitive scenes. And that's my only issue with gaming nowadays, is that everything is taken competitively. Having a competitive mode isn't necessarily a bad thing, but having a competitive mode and having that decide how you balance your game is wrong. You need to take into account the casual audience all the way to the competitive audience. You need to take into consideration every audience and not just focus on one as your main source of, "Oh yeah, this is what we should balance." But yeah.
other video game developers with far less money and resources than Activision Blizzard are able to release their video games, whether they're first-person shooters, hero shooters, MOBAs, fighting games. They're able to release their games with all playable characters or heroes or whatever with full AI and bot support. Overwatch is the most popular with the biggest budget, and yet, unlike video games like Battleborn, Paladins, the free-to-play MOBA that's about to be shut down, Paragon, For Honor, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, And going all the way back to 2015 with Evolve. You guys remember Evolve? I remember Evolve. I love Evolve. All those games and so many more. Full bot support, full AI support, all their heroes, all their playable characters available as bots, as AI. Fully fleshed out PvE.
Just a quick little thing I want to mention, because I just kind of popped in my head for a second. But I mean, it's kind of ironic that he's in love with the game Evolve, or not in love with it, but he highly enjoys it. Yeah, he doesn't want to evolve his own preferences or try and evolve his own kind of play styles to play anything besides PvE. Just a little kind of nitpick there, but yeah.
Content. Do you want to play solo? You want to play single player? Or do you want to play strictly co-op with your friends? You have the option. And some of these games are free to play, or around the same full AAA price tag, $60 or even less than Overwatch. The PvE in Overwatch without Retribution and Uprising is pitiful. With Retribution and Uprising, it's exactly what gamers like in Overwatch. Without Retribution and Uprising is pitiful. With Retribution and Uprising, fully fleshed out PvE content. Do you want to play solo? You want to play single player? Or do you want to play strictly co-op with your friends? You have the option. And some of these games are free to play, or around the same full AAA price tag, $60 or even less than Overwatch. The PvE in Overwatch without Retribution and Uprising is pitiful. With Retribution and Uprising, it's exactly what gamers like me want from Overwatch. The advertisements for Overwatch over and over and over again proclaim for you to feel and be like a superhero. That doesn't happen in PvP, especially when you pick up the game for the first time as a noob. But when it comes to the PvE, the player versus AI game modes off.
Okay, just a quick little thing. The whole fact that the game advertises, oh yeah, you could be like a superhero or whatever, and you're saying, oh yeah, you can't feel like that if you're picking the game up as a noob. I picked up this game after pretty much exclusively playing games like COD or Battlefield or stuff like that, and occasionally playing games like Skyrim and stuff like that, because I enjoy my fair share of RPGs from time to time. I'm actually looking into picking up Divinity Original Sin 2, because I've heard that game is amazing, and I also play a little bit of Path of Exile every here and then. On PC, but yeah. But as far as saying, oh yeah, when you first pick up the game, you can't get that feeling. I picked up one of the hardest characters to actually be good with, Hanzo, when I first got the game on free weekends or whatever. When I first played the game before I even bought it, and I was having a blast. I mean, hell, just nailing those headshots when I would very rarely do it at first was amazing. Throwing out those recon arrows, like just seeing that, oh yeah, I could just, shoot this bow hundreds of feet, and I can magically just switch the arrow without really any explanation to a radar arrow or an arrow that turns into a bunch of other ones. That was an amazing feeling. I mean, you have cyborg ninjas like the one in that session that can literally double jump, can launch themselves with swords, can deflect bullets, can deflect energy shots, can deflect all of this. I mean, even Reaper, I mean, he literally has shotguns that he just pulls out of nowhere, and he can just spin in a circle and annihilate everything. I mean, you have Diva, who can literally just jump out of her mech. Her mech can fly, now it can shoot rockets, it can deflect rockets, shots, projectiles, all that kind of stuff. And then she could jump out of it, cause a nuke, and just call another one infinitely. I mean, if that's not a superhero experience, I don't know what is. I mean, hell, you have Lucio, who can literally fucking run on walls pretty much infinitely, as long as you're good enough with it. Like, I mean, you even have Tracer, who can literally time travel, which that whole kind of thing is still kind of fucked up. But yeah, she can literally blink forward in time, and then literally if you have it set up to where you have infinite blinks in like a custom lobby, you can go from one spawn to the other, and as long as you do it quick enough and you know the route to the map and you can do that, you can recall all the way back to the other spawn and just be like, oh yeah, well, I got shot a bunch of times on the way, but I'm still back at full health. If that's not a superhero type feeling, I don't know what is.
Offered in Uprising and in the most recent Retribution, you feel like a superhero. You're taking out hordes of bad guys as a team, using colorful weapons and superpowers.
with how he's implying it, I mean, if he ends up watching this video, if you end up watching this video, Mr. Gamertron person, just know that if this isn't your intention and I'm misrepresenting it, let me know. But with how you're making it sound, sorry, my dog's having a fucking heart attack, but it definitely sounds like he's trying to make it seem like you can only get that superhero experience by killing mindless drones. I mean, I'm pretty sure when I think of most superheroes, I think of people that can go toe-to-toe with powerful entities or beings, or even people more powerful than them. I mean, hell yeah, by the time this video comes out, Infinity War will be out. And I mean, that's a bunch of people. There's a dude in a fucking Iron Man suit. You got a dude in a black cat costume just running around. He eats or drinks this herb to gain superpowers. And his suit is literally bulletproof. I mean, you have a dude with a freaking robotic arm, essentially. I mean, Iron Man's new suit can freaking just turn into whatever he wants it to. You have a dude that swings around on spider webs that is about to fight one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. That's what feeling like a superhero is like. Is doing these beyond ordinary things. But in Overwatch, in the PvE, saying, oh yeah, well, say you get that nuke or whatever from D.Va. Say you get her ult. You pop that, best case scenario, did you take out one of the heavy guys that has a minigun? And then you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Otherwise, you're just killing a bunch of very easily killable things with a giant overpowered nuke. And then that just doesn't feel superpowered to me. I mean, I'd think that, you know, feeling powerful would be overcoming an obstacle. That's why I love Overwatch competitive so much, because in Overwatch I get that sense of, oh yeah, well, even if it's only for that match, I can feel like, oh, I'm doing something amazing. Like getting a play of the game in the PvP is fucking amazing. Especially since I usually play support. Getting it as support and seeing that you're just, especially if you're Ana, just shooting your teammates with random shit, whatever the hell that concoction is made out of, throwing magic jars of piss, shooting a fucking thin-ass sleep dart and nailing someone as they're about to do their super move, and then you get play. That is the most satisfying feeling in the world. That makes me feel like, oh, I did something extraordinary. In a game, at least. Killing 5, 6, 7 enemies just by hitting one button in PvE, it doesn't feel satisfying. It just doesn't. It's like, oh yeah, all these things are lined up. It's like, yeah, seeing eliminated. In that sense, yeah, that's a bit satisfying, I suppose. I mean, even if you're nailing headshots or whatever, say as Widow or whatever in PvE, yeah, that's a bit satisfying just because the headsound noise is so good. But I mean, aside from that, there's not much to make you feel super. I mean, I don't know.
Uprising and Retribution is the Overwatch I want to play when I watch the advertisements for Overwatch. I want to play your game, Blizzard. I want to have fun with your game. But with the way you're handling things, I can't play and enjoy Overwatch whenever I want, when I want. I can't play and enjoy this content that you obviously put hard work into.
Okay, if you can't enjoy the PvP, that's not on the developers. If you yourself admitted at the beginning of this video that you have a PvE bias, and you're saying, oh, I can't enjoy the game you've made whenever I want, just because you don't enjoy PvP, yeah, there's issues with the PvP, and I've talked about that many times on streams and videos, stuff like that. I've touched on that many times. And even I wouldn't say that, oh yeah, well, you know, the PvE is good, and if you don't enjoy it, fuck off. That's still not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, if you don't like PvE, or if you don't like the PvP of Overwatch, then don't play it. I'm saying that if you don't enjoy the PvP in Overwatch, then you need to decide if you really want to play Overwatch as it is, or if you want to play your idealized version of Overwatch. Because yeah, it's good to hope, and like I said before earlier in the video, I would love for PvE to stay in the game just as a thing that's always there. That would be amazing. I would love more content for the game. But if you're going to base your whole enjoyment off the game, and if you cannot enjoy it just because, oh, well, I only really like one mode and that one mode gets removed, then there's other games for that. I mean, Overwatch is not a PvE game, and it never will be. Yeah, there's modes where they play around with it, but PvE will never be the main draw of Overwatch. It will never be the thing they mainly focus on. Because that's just not the kind of game Overwatch is. Overwatch is a team-based hero shooter. It is meant for you to go against other actual players, to actually test yourself, to get better at the game, to learn maps, to learn combos, to learn the characters that you play, and do amazing, unbelievable things with them. In PvE, you can only get that feeling to a certain extent. That feeling is very limited. So if you're saying that, oh, well, I want to feel more like a superhero, trust me, you can get many, many more moments in PvP like that than you can in PvE. But, yeah, again, it's just, yeah. Again, Overwatch is not a PvE game. That will never be the main focus of it. And I don't know.
When I want, whenever I want, I'm only allowed to play this for 20 days, once a month, once a year, and I gotta wait whole years in between to play and enjoy Overwatch the way I want to play and enjoy Overwatch. This is so anti-consumer, it completely...
Okay, saying it's immediately anti-consumer just because it's not letting you play the exact way that you want it 24/7, that's a bit fucking dishonest. I mean, Overwatch has its problems. It has many problems, and I will fully admit that the game has many issues. But focusing a whole video on the fact that PvE isn't always in the game, and that is, one of the biggest issues for Overwatch, and framing it as the single biggest issue that you have for Overwatch, while also complaining, oh yeah, why don't people give Overwatch, criticism? That's highly disingenuous of you. You're sitting here complaining about something that, in the grand scheme of Overwatch, PvE being in the game as a full thing or not, is not the biggest issue that the game has to face. The game has copious amounts of balancing issues. The maps are very repetitive. The modes, there's literally only 3 modes in the fucking quick play and competitive. There's hybrid, which is capture the point, 4 modes. There's hybrid, which is capture the point, and then that combines, escort combines escort combines capture the point with a payload. And that's fine. That's good, it's unique every once in a while. And then you have King of the Hill things where you take point A, and whatever team holds it for the longest, or to 100%, wins that round, and then you do it again, and then if the same team wins, that's the end of the match. If not, then you guys go to whoever wins the second round, or whoever gets 2 total win rounds. And then there's just grab the point, where all you gotta do is get to the point, capture it, get to the point, like Hanamura. There's not really much variety in the gameplay in Overwatch, and that's one of the biggest issues for the game. So framing the lack of a constant PvE as one of the biggest issues for you, that's very concerning. If that's your biggest issue, is that, a game doesn't have a survival type mode for me whenever I want to play it, that's ridiculous. I mean, yes, I would love for Overwatch to have more content options. I would love for it to have more maps, more modes, more unique heroes, more just unique modes, like I just said, like PvE, PvP, all that kind of stuff. I'd love that. Even a single player campaign. The more content Overwatch would have, the more I would love the game. As long as the content was done well. But saying that just because, specifically the PvE isn't there, that's a problem, and that's the biggest problem, if that's your biggest problem with Overwatch, then your priorities are askew, my friend. That's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous.
disrespects and doesn't even consider the player's time, your time. You have to drop everything else you're doing and play Overwatch in this short period of time once a month, else it's gone for a year.
Okay, he goes on to say, God forbid you have other things to do during that month or whatever, which I agree, like, yeah, the whole limited time thing, whatever it is, what it is. But saying, oh yeah, well, it's disrespectful and they don't care about your time. I mean, literally every Monday, I don't remember exactly what time, but every Monday, at the beginning of every week, all they require from you is 9 wins in the arcade to get 3 total event loot boxes, and within that time, depending on your level, you would have at least leveled up once, twice, maybe 3 times by the time of you getting each of those loot boxes. So okay, so let's say you just got the game today, right? Middle of the event, and you're level 1, you haven't played the game at all. You pick up the game, you want to go through the event, and there's 4 technical modes for the event. There's Retribution Normal, Retribution All Heroes, there's Uprising Normal, Uprising All Heroes, and then there's 4 different difficulties for each mode, granting you different levels of experience depending on your performance. And you can also group up with people, which would give you experience, and there's apps to do that. There's ways to find people to play with. There's Reddit, there's Twitter, there's Discord, there's many different sites, there's apps, there's all that kind of stuff to find people to party up with, and as long as you're with at least one person, you get 20% extra XP towards loot boxes and all that. Sorry. So there's that whole aspect, and then there's also the aspect of, oh yeah, well, you know, on top of all that, the first one you get for each of those 4 modes gets you a guaranteed loot box as long as you win it. So if you wanted to and you were a complete newbie to the game, you could just go through each mode on normal and get guaranteed wins, essentially, as long as you're grouped up with at least one person. And then that's at least 4 loot boxes, at the very least. So taking into account that you win every single of those 4 matches in a row, because you also get you get XP bonuses for winning in a row, which if you're switching between modes you can't do, so we're not going to count that. But if you're doing all that, you also get, we'll say 4 total loot boxes before adding the XP bonus of actually playing the match, and then the XP bonus of having the group. So we'll say that by the time you complete those 4, you're level 2 or 3. So that's what, 6 to 7 loot boxes. But then you also got to take into account that since you got the 3rd win, technically, that is also another one, so that's 7 or 8 total loot boxes just from your first hour or so of playing. You have 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 loot boxes minimum. And then you're at 4 of your 9 wins, so you can even just, oh, well, I only have time for 2 more quick matches of this. Then you could do 2 more quick matches of Retribution, because that's the faster option of the 2, honestly. So you could just go through that, and then get those extra 2 wins easily, and get, if you level up another time, since if you do that in a row, you'll at least level up 1 more time. Sorry. But yeah, so that's at least 8 to 9 loot boxes if you get those extra 2 wins. Or no, that'd be at least 9 to 10 loot boxes. So at most you'd have 10 loot boxes within 2 hours of gameplay, give or take. 2 to 3 hours of gameplay and you get 10 loot boxes. That's not that bad. I mean, you can dedicate 2 hours to a game to get 10 loot boxes. That's not that bad. I mean, I think on the scale of things to complain about, that's really not up there on the whole big issue of, oh, they're disrespecting my time.
God forbid you have other stuff to do during the time period Overwatch is having this event. God forbid you want to play something else. But you better play Overwatch, you better play this limited time event before it's gone. Yeah, fuck games like Titanfall 2 that add their PvE co-op horde modes in for free and then never take them out and I can play and enjoy them whenever I want to. Fuck the personal convenience of your consumers, right? Activision Blizzard has it all right. Why add more value to your product when you can just rip it out? Fuck story, fuck character development, fuck world building and lore. Who wants any of that? Ugh, it just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind.
Okay, again, you don't need character development or story. I mean, hell, just even with the voice lines, there's character development. There's lore building, even just in subtle aspects of the map. Yeah, a lot of the lore building is through comics or cinematics, which I agree that since that's the main way we get lore, that's a bit ridiculous. Again, yes, it could benefit the game to have a campaign in there, but it's not necessary. The whole fact of, oh yeah, well, story is necessary, that's very subjective. Not everyone cares about story. Not everyone loves games like The Witcher 3. I've only played a little bit of it, but goddamn, I love that game. And I'm only playing it on console. If I was playing it on PC, I bet I'd love the game 10 times more. The game is amazing. And yeah, I personally might love games that have a good story in them, good gameplay, all that. But that's the thing. That's my preference. Some people have the same preference. Some people have different preferences. And some days, I don't give a shit about a game with story, and I just want to fuck around and get some random-ass wins. Like, sometimes that's all I care about. And sometimes there's other people that are the exact same way or vice versa. Not everyone puts fucking story above all else. In a video game, the number one concern should be gameplay. Gameplay should be primary to everything else. Story, graphics, all of that should come secondary to the gameplay. Yeah, there's some people that care more about graphics over gameplay. And that's just how some people are, and I can't change that. And that's fine. But if you're going to sit here and say, oh, well, the story, a game doesn't need a story to be good. The story in a game does not immediately make the game good. The story could be complete shit. But people like you would still be sitting here saying, oh, but at least it has a story mode, so that's good. It's like, just because it has that extra content doesn't mean that extra content is any good. So yeah, just stop saying that immediately X equals Y. Stop saying immediately story equals good. That's not how it goes. There are many games that have a campaign and the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is far better.
Mind how people defend this. Just leave retribution and uprising in the game, Blizzard. Just leave it in the game. Let your players, let your customers play your game when they want to play it, how they want to play it, as long as it doesn't infringe on the fun of your other players and customers playing the game when it comes to PvP multiplayer. Why do you have to be a special snowflake, Blizzard? What happened to you guys, man?
Okay, that's just a little nitpick. I've had a couple of nitpicks here and there. But holy shit. You're sitting here complaining that, oh yeah, well, PvE isn't always in the game, so that's the biggest issue that the game has. At least that's what you're making it out to seem like. While also saying, oh yeah, well, as long as it doesn't ruin other players' enjoyment. Some of the players' enjoyment is the community. If a good portion of the community were people like you that would not play the game with other people and would only ever play PvE, that would extremely hinder the game. That would not help the game in any sense. That would take away a large amount of the player base from where the main focus of the game is. A lot of the aspect of Overwatch is the community, for better or for worse. So with the fact that there are people like you out there, and there's probably more than just you, that only want to play Overwatch PvE and they don't want to even touch the PvP. Which, I mean, you're only a couple levels lower than me right now. Because I'm at, I think, level 30 with the bronze star or whatever, with the first star. So you have, if you have at least the almost as much playtime as me, if not less or more, just depending on how you play the game. Because I guarantee you're not the person to play competitive. I guarantee you're the person to play quick play only until there's PvE, and then only ever play PvE, and then play other games until more PvE, and then coming back to Overwatch, while only going into competitive a couple times a season to get placements to say, oh yeah, well I play comp. So no, that's the whole statement of, oh yeah, well as long as it doesn't hinder the community, that very well could hinder the community. Yeah, no one knows 100% because that's not how the game is yet. And hopefully they do put PvE permanently in the game. I would love for the game to have more content. But saying that, oh, well, this needs to happen because this is my preference and this is how the game needs to be, or else the game's immediately anti-consumer, that's ridiculous. That is just disgusting.
And you guys used to be cool. You guys all remember when StarCraft II Wings of Liberty first released?
No. I mean, even if I did, I mean, cool is subjective. I mean, when I was in middle school and elementary school, when I was in elementary school, I had a fucking Nintendo 64, and me and my little brother would play the hell out of that. GoldenEye 64 for the win, by the way. But, yeah, I would play the hell out of that, and I got bullied through elementary school and middle school because, well, at least the main reason in elementary school is because, oh, well, you just, you're not cool because you play video games, and that immediately makes you uncool. Now it's at the point where fucking esports, fucking CSGO matches are being broadcast on fucking ESPN. You have, I went to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings a couple months ago, and there was a CSGO match on. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of esports. I don't really pay much attention to it, but it's interesting to see gaming getting that recognition. What's cool shifts from person to person. There's still people that think gaming is lame, or you're weird, or a loser if you play games. There's all those kinds of people. Cool is subjective. That's not really a huge issue. That's just something that irks me every time I hear it.
How it blew everybody away with its quality and quantity of content, the amount of features and options and customization you could play the game how you wanted to play it. On top of that, everything in the game was yours. Everything you paid for was yours. And it was worth the money. Now Blizzard is implementing loot box gambling progression systems.
Okay, just want to get this out there. Loot boxes are not inherently evil. Games like Call of Duty, Destiny 2, Shadow of War, for fuck's sakes. Games nowadays have taught us that loot boxes, for 99% of games, Battlefront 2, hell. Loot boxes 99% of the time are awful for gaming, especially in full-priced games. That's a bit ridiculous. If it was like an indie game that was free, or just free to play games in general, that's fine. But they're having it to where, oh yeah, well, you're paying to get, like in Infinite Warfare, you're paying to get statistically better variants of guns, and they're rewarding people that play the game more with better guns who are logically already better at the game. So not only are they doing more damage to you and shooting you down quicker than you can react if you're just picking up the game, they're getting rewarded for doing so, and that's how they get rewarded. That's ridiculous. In Overwatch, literally everything you get is cosmetic. Skins, voice lines, sprays, highlight intros, emotes, voice lines, everything. Even golden guns that you get for playing comp are cosmetic. Overwatch is not a game where loot boxes ruin the game. Even the events, loot boxes don't ruin the events. Yeah, I've voiced my frustration many times at the fact that, at least with this event, with other events, I've spent at most $20 for loot boxes. Because I like to get a couple loot boxes kind of open up on stream for you guys or in a video to kind of see if I can get any of the new skins to show you guys, or emotes, or victory poses. Or even highlight intros. I like to try and get that stuff so I can show you guys more content. But that's my choice. I'm choosing to spend my money to try and get that stuff. And I could easily not do that, and I could just grind the hell out of the game and just play it, even only if I played it just to get those 9 wins, and then I wouldn't play it again until the next week. I could easily do that and still have a chance of getting the content that I want. And if not, you could save up credits until the next event, or even during this event, and get the skins that you want, get the highlight intro you want, get the emote you want. You can get what you want by playing the game. And it's not that hard. So just the fact that you're saying, oh, loot boxes as a whole point, it's ridiculous.
And the fanboys make excuses for them. Now they're not even bothering with story-rich single-player campaigns, but still ask you for the full AAA price tag, and the fanboys defend them. And
Okay, first of all, people that are defending Blizzard just in the fact of loot boxes, people are defending, oh, the Overwatch loot boxes like I just did, when they're using those defenses and similar ones. That's not them being fanboys. That's just not a thing. I mean, yeah, there are fanboys of Overwatch. There's fanboys of pretty much anything, and that's not healthy. If your love for something goes beyond, oh, well, I enjoy this game, and this game gives me enjoyment for the price I paid, and it's worth it. If your care for the game goes beyond that to, oh, I love this game regardless of what happens, or I love this company regardless, that's not healthy. But yeah, it's just dismissing points just because, oh, well, I disagree with you, or it goes against my narrative, so therefore you're immediately wrong. That's disingenuous. That's wrong.
And now Blizzard is adding and then removing, within a short period of time, quality content. When it comes to Blizzard, you don't own your games anymore. You don't own what you pay for. You
What? I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but I mean, when the game first came out, there wasn't any events going on. So I mean, back then, there was no guarantee that there were going to be events for Overwatch. So I mean, if you're someone that bought the game on day one, you got exactly what you paid for. I mean, if you paid full price, you're getting all the DLC heroes, you're getting all the maps, all the modes, you can get the skins, and you're getting bonus events. I mean, I'd say you're getting more than what you paid for. I mean, yeah. I think that's just kind of self-evident that that whole viewpoint is just, there's not much truth to go off of with that, if you really put thought into it.
You only get to play what Blizzard says you can play, and when you can play it. And the fanboys still defend this bullshit. It's bullshit.
Also, a quick point with the whole competitive thing. This season has been going on for, I think, a couple months now, and you still haven't done your placements? I just find that kind of funny. Again, he's probably not someone that really plays this game much. I mean, hell, he doesn't even have his second win with the loot boxes. I mean, it's really not that hard to get those wins. But, yeah, kind of makes it seem like you don't really know what you're talking about, man. Doesn't seem like you really play the game much.
Stop making excuses for Overwatch. You don't make excuses for other AAA video games.
Don't tell me what I do, and don't tell me what I don't do. I don't make excuses for any game. I try and give explanations as to why things might be the way they are, and I give suggestions on how they can improve. So you telling me exactly, oh, well, yeah, this is exactly how you act. Yeah, you're not directly speaking to me, but you're speaking to whoever's watching the video. And that's how YouTube is. YouTube, the way you watch videos is you have to take it as, oh, they're speaking to you, unless they directly say, oh, reaction or whatever. So don't speak for other people. Don't say that, oh, this is what you want, this is what you're doing, you're not supposed to be doing this, oh, you don't do this. You don't know me, and you don't speak for everyone.
You don't make excuses for Activision when it comes to Call of Duty and Destiny. You don't make excuses for...
Again, yeah, I don't make excuses for Blizzard or Overwatch as a game. I also don't make excuses for COD. you know, I don't make excuses for anything, but you know, according to this guy, I make excuses for only Overwatch, even though, I mean, by now, I mean, by the end of May, I would have had 3 total rants out on the game. And on stream, I've complained about the game and given my thoughts on it, but you know, I just make excuses.
EA, you don't make excuses for Ubisoft. You don't make excuses for 2K and Square Enix and Konami. You don't make excuses for them. Don't make excuses for Blizzard, because you're making excuses for Blizzard.
I mean, I'm not, but okay.
These basic features and options and content that is available in other games.
I mean, I honestly think that this guy just doesn't understand how games work. Just because another game has something, it doesn't mean that Overwatch needs it. Just because Titanfall 2 now has a story doesn't mean Overwatch needs it. Just because other games always have PvE doesn't mean Overwatch needs it. And just because Call of Duty had competitive doesn't mean that Overwatch needed it. But it has its own league. And that's just, I mean, there's nothing we can do to change that. And yeah, we can voice our opinions. But at the end of the day, Blizzard makes the games, and I just, in regards to that, again, voice your opinions, hope for the best, and that's all we can really do until, and if it gets bad enough, we boycott the game. I mean, it's just there's ways for us to do things, but to a certain limit, there's not much we can do.
That you should expect out of your full-price AAA video games. When other video games are lacking these features, you don't give them excuses, you call them out on their bullshit. But Blizzard gets a free pass? No, stop it. What Activision Blizzard is doing with Overwatch is bullshit. And we can't keep letting them get away with bullshit because it sets a dangerous
Alrighty, everyone. Sorry that the video was kind of cut short. But I can't, well, not cut short because it's an hour long. But yeah. Again, it wasn't supposed to be that long of a video, but I said pretty much everything I had to say in that video. Again, no hate to Gamertron or anything like that, or even anyone that has similar thought processes as him. Because I'm not trying to sit here and I was trying to record Discord, and then I had to switch to record Twitter instead because it wouldn't capture Discord. Don't judge me. I'm still learning OBS. So, yeah. But thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Turn on notifications so you know when I stream or when I upload. Join the Discord because you know I'm kind of getting that set up. Also, check out my Patreon, which I will actually pull up here. But yeah, there's different reward tiers, as you guys can see. There's a $5 tier, there's a $10 tier, and there's a $15 tier. Because I just do increments of 5. Each one gets you Discord roles. And then I might have a special one for the $15 role, or whatever, for people that do that role, because then that'll give you guys something extra special in the Discord. But yeah, so if any of those rewards interest you guys want to support the channel, go ahead. Otherwise, I mean, if you just want to do a one-time donation, then hold on, let me pull this up and find the link I'm trying to find. Give you guys a little behind the scenes. Where is it? Right here. Hold on. Sorry about that. My little brother came running in the room. But yeah, if you guys just want to do a one-time donation, then feel free to donate here. Yeah. So, as far as that stuff's concerned, that's all the kind of basic stuff out of the way. But yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I know this is kind of a longer video and kind of not my usual content. I mean, how this channel started out as a music channel, and then it switched to a music gaming hybrid, and then now I've done reactions, I've done like live, like in-person videos. I mean, now I'm doing a response video to someone. Like, I don't know, I'm just trying out different things, kind of see what you guys like, kind of just go from there. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Again, if you did, please just show your support, because any support that you guys do show is highly appreciated. And also, if you guys haven't checked out all those links, like the sponsors or whatever, feel free to check them out. Just use my discount code and all that, but also make sure, I know I said it at the beginning of the video in like the intro clip, but yeah, definitely check out Rogue Energy, especially because sometime in May, after this video is out, as long as I'm at 100 subscribers, which if I can literally show you where I'm at as I'm recording. Yeah, I'm at 97. I was at 98, but now I'm at 97. So, yeah, now you guys get to see some of my subscriptions if you guys don't check. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I've been doing this for almost 5 minutes, so it's a bit ridiculous, but I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.